Welcome back to Askewed Reviews. And this whole week it's Mother's Day movies. This was also a viewer request, and it is for the 1994 film Serial Mom. Here is your trivia question for today. In the film, there are plans for a made for TV miniseries based on Beverly Sutphin. What famous actress is set to play her? The answer will be at the end of this episode. So, in this film, we meet a nice suburban family, the Sutphins. You have Eugene, Chip, Misty, and of course the matriarch of the family, Beverly. Now, most of the family is pretty normal, but Beverly has some interesting hobbies, including cooking, cleaning, crafts, prank phone calls, and murder. That's right, when Beverly's around, nobody is safe. The teacher that badmouths her son, the boy that mistreats her daughter, the elderly couple that are patients of her husband. So, will anyone be able to stop Beverly's killing spree? Her neighbors? The police? Her family? Or will she just keep right on going? This movie was written and directed by John Waters. Technically, Waters does make a cameo in the film, as he is the voice of Ted Bundy that Beverly has on her hidden tape. The character of Beverly Sutphin is played by Kathleen Turner, who does a really good job, but there were other actresses up for the role, including Julie Andrews, Susan Sarandon, Meryl Streep, Kathy Bates, Glenn Close, Mary Tyler Moore, Goldie Hawn, Jessica Lange, Sybil Shepherd, and Tracy Ullman. Sam Waterston plays Eugene Sutphin, but that role almost went to Chevy Chase. Chip Sutphin is played by Matthew Lillard in his first starring role in a film, but it also could have been played by Will Wheaton. Misty Sutphin is played by Ricky Lake, who has appeared in a few other John Waters films. Including Ricky Lake, there was at least 7 members of the cast of this film that also appeared in Waters' film Crybaby. Joan Rivers makes a cameo in this film as herself. There's a band that performs near the end of the movie that in the film is called Camel Lips. This was actually the band L7. Right at the beginning of the movie, there's a statement that says this is based on a true story. That is completely false. This is just part of the satire of the film. Now, what's interesting though is between when the movie was finished filming and when it was released, the O.J. Simpson murder trial occurred. The copyright owners of the song Tomorrow from Annie charged $60,000 for its use because the scene it was used for was so violent. Beverly blowing kisses at her family while chasing after Scotty was completely improvised by Kathleen Turner. In fact, John Waters didn't even notice until the first screening and ended up loving it. The video store shown in the film was John Waters' actual local video store. The movie that's playing at the video store is the 1964 film Straitjacket. And then later on, near the end of the film, when there's another movie at the video store, this is the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The movie that's playing in Chip's room is the 1963 film Blood Feast. The adult film that Scotty is caught watching is Chesty Morgan's Deadly Weapons from 1974. The ASPCA refused to allow a real fly to be killed on screen, so the art director made up a fake dead fly. The movie was filmed in Maryland. There's an interesting theory involved with the character of Chip from this film. The belief is that he goes on to become Stu from the Scream series. The theory goes that Chip, either by himself or with his entire family, moved to Woodsboro and changed their names, using the money that they acquired from Beverly's television deal. Beverly does in fact have psychotic tendencies, which she could have passed on to Chip/Stu. Also, Beverly in this film does like making horrifying prank calls, which the Ghostface Killer also does. And lastly, both Chip and Stu are huge horror movie fanatics. Now, of course, when talking about serial killers, we can't forget about the body count for this film, which is 7. There's Mr. Stubbins, who is run over with a car, Carl, who is impaled with a fire poker, Betty, who is stabbed with scissors, Ralph, who has an air conditioner dropped on top of him, Miss Jensen, who is beaten with a leg of lamb, Scotty, who is set on fire, and juror number 8, who is bludgeoned with a telephone for wearing white after Labor Day. So when it comes to the film Serial Mom, this is definitely an interesting movie. It's a part dark comedy, part horror movie with a lot of comedic elements, but it is not for everybody. I will say that. It's very over the top when it comes to the acting, but that's all part of it. Now, I probably would have given this movie a 2 out of 5 if I had never seen a John Waters film before. I was prepared though because I knew it was going to be weird, outlandish, and really over the top. So, because I knew that, and because I could appreciate that, I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 5. And if you enjoyed the film Serial Mom, other movies I recommend checking out are Very Bad Things, Jawbreaker, Drop Dead Gorgeous, and Heathers. Now it's time for the trivia question from the beginning of this episode. In the film, there are plans for a made for TV miniseries based on Beverly Sutphin. What famous actress is set to play her? So that actress is none other than Suzanne Summers. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Askewed Reviews, and if you'd like to see a movie get a review, just mention it in the comments.